I think we should put it to the test. Hello, by the way. This is the MacBook Neo, of course. This is the new MacBook Air with M5. And it's not so much about, oh, how much faster is this? Because it's for a different audience. It's also a lot more money. It's more about, if we go through a bit of a everyday use case scenario, will this keep up? Is there going to be much difference between them? So let me come around there and we'll see what it can do. We have Chrome running, me playing my MacBook Air video because it's the only way I'll get views. We've also got a Canva open here. Let's get this running at the same time on both. The Canva presentation, which I've worked really hard on. We've got the YouTube video, and then we've also got Lightroom open over here. And that, I mean, it's a little bit, well, it's definitely smoother on the Air. Let's export a photo. Go. Done. Done. So absolutely fine doing some Lightroom workloads. And then let's jump over to Canva. Not Canva, CapCut. Also begins with C. This is a 4K video I just shot on my iPhone. Play. Playback is nice and smooth on both. So then let's export this video and go. I mean, definitely faster, but this is an M5 versus an A18 Pro. All right, we've finished the export on the M5 Air. Took about twice as long. And all that is while my YouTube video is playing, and hopefully my Canva presentation is still Canvaing. I may have paused, actually. Oh, no, we're still going. For the price and the spec, it's not bad at all. My friend asked me the other day, do I have a spare phone they could give to their 13-year-old daughters, their first phone? I have a bit of a shelf of phones over there. Most of them review samples, a lot for comparison, but I thought I've got a couple of older ones I could probably give away. Found a Pixel 8 and I found an iPhone 12, set them up, charged them. Now the Pixel is 3 years newer, it's much faster, it has a much longer battery life, it has better cameras, it has a 120Hz screen, it's a nicer design. It's better by every metric. Guess which one they chose? Apple as a brand has this ability to make you forget about specs and just get the thing that you want, that your friends will be more impressed by, that works better with everything else you have in your life, your iPhone, your AirPods, your Apple Watch, your iPad. It's not just the fact that you can buy this for $599, which makes it the cheapest MacBook Apple have ever sold, but it's the ecosystem that comes along with it. And let me demonstrate, because this is the new MacBook Neo in the very nice blush pink. I actually think this may be my favorite color. And this was $599. It's the base model, but you can also buy the higher spec version with double the storage and Touch ID for $699. Reading all your comments in my first impressions video of the Neo, the general consensus was like, great, it's a cheaper MacBook, entry level, great for students, maybe replacing Chromebooks as an option, people's first laptops, but it's running an iPhone chip. You only get 8 GB of memory, you can't spec any more. There's no backlight for the keyboard, the touchpad's not as nice, the port selection's a little bit more limited with one USB 3 and one very slow USB 2. The color accuracy is not as good. Compared to a MacBook Air, which, to be fair, is nearly twice the price, there are quite a few compromises with the Neo. But I think the main consensus was that, ooh, well done, Apple, you've finally caught up with Windows. We've had some fantastic PCs for that kind of price for a long time and with much better specs. And that is absolutely true. So I bought one. This is the Asus VivoBook S14. It's powered by a Snapdragon X chip. We have 16 GB of memory, twice this. We have a terabyte of storage, 4 times this. Huge port selection. By every logical metric, every bone in my nerdy tech chat body, this should be the laptop that I go for and I buy. And yet I, like that little girl with her iPhone 12, would go for this one. I might have to delete my channel after this. But what's this actually like to use? Is it fast enough with the A18 Pro chip with the 8 GB of memory to get you through your daily chores? Well, I can tell you after using this for quite a few days now, it is absolutely fine day to day. Switching between apps, watching videos, editing documents, even doing a little bit of light editing in Lightroom or CapCut. It's remarkably good at doing basic desktop-y things, albeit with the occasional little hiccup or slowdown. As you might expect, this does not feel as smooth or consistently responsive as a MacBook Air with the new M5. Also, once I fired up Premiere Pro and tried to tinker with my 4K video edit for this video, it wasn't having any of it. It was stuttery, it basically stopped, I couldn't even close the app. I had to give it a couple of minutes just to sort itself out and then close it. With these specs, at this price point, you do have to set expectations. But for schoolwork, having it as the fancy, colorful new laptop at the front desk of your office, just hanging out on your coffee table, it is the perfect casual kind of laptop. Although it does kind of raise the question, if an A18 Pro, which of course is the chip they use in the iPhone 16 Pro, last generation, can power a MacBook with full macOS Tahoe, then why can't my iPad Air do that? And actually, is this a better option? The iPad Air, which has just been refreshed with the M4 chip, is the same price as the Neo, at $599 in the UK and the US. Although that doesn't get you the keyboard, that does cost you a fair bit more. This is definitely worth considering as an alternative to a MacBook Neo, and will probably last you longer with the M4 chip in here as well. And if you do get yourself an iPad, then you should also get yourself one of these, Paperlike, who are very kindly sponsoring this section of the video. And all you do is apply it to your iPad, and it supports basically all iPads, all Apple Pencils, and it's a very simple idea. It just gives you a really natural paper-like feel to your drawing, your doodling, your note-taking. Just a little bit of friction, you can run your palm over it without it getting stuck and sticky like on a regular glass screen, and it's just like doodling or drawing in your notebook. This has Paperlike's nano dot surface technology, giving you this really nice balance of resistance and smoothness. But it's still clear enough that it still looks great for everything else you're doing with your iPad. And importantly, it feels like proper high-quality sketch paper. They've also made it really easy to install thanks to their new Butterfly applicator, so you get a perfectly aligned, bubble-free install first time. And it also gives you a little bit of sort of nano texture quality to it, like you get on the Pro iPads, but without having to spend over $1,000. You can see it diffusing my studio lights there a little bit. So you can apply a Paperlike screen protector to pretty much any iPad. You just go on the website, pick your model, pick your size of iPad, and if you're not entirely convinced, they do offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so you can just have your order refunded, no questions asked if you're not happy with it. So if you want your iPad to feel more like regular high-quality paper, then click the link below and give Paperlike a try. It's also worth mentioning that this Neo basically has the same Magic trackpad as this iPad Magic keyboard here. It's not the fancier Force haptic touch pad that you get on the MacBook Air and the Pro. It's actually something different. It's this Apple multi-touch Magic trackpad. They love their fancy words. Normally, on a laptop like this, you'd have a diving board mechanism, which means it's actually easier to press it at the bottom than the top, which never feels particularly nice. But in similarly priced Windows rivals, that's what you'll find. That's what I have on the VivoBook over there. Now with this, while it does press in to the chassis, what is remarkable is that it's the exact same effort to press, to click, wherever you press it. Real world everyday use, it felt absolutely fine. I use a MacBook Pro every single day with the fancier Force touchpad. Functionally, honestly, it is absolutely fine. And as I say, basically the exact same style of trackpad that you get on the keyboard. If not the iPad though, I know a lot of people are considering the M1 MacBook Air as a either cheaper or similarly priced alternative to the Neo, and I just ran a quick Geekbench benchmark to see how the M1 stacks up against the A18 Pro, and surprisingly this is nearly 50% faster in single core and basically the same in multi-core. Also look at this, almost identical scores in the graphics test, which is backed up by a similar 27 FPS average in Cyberpunk at Full HD Plus and medium settings, which is actually not as bad as I was expecting from the A18 Pro running Cyberpunk, but it is not playable. There were glitches, it was stuttering. But for lighter gaming, Apple Arcade, it is solid. The odd stutter or slowdown aside in this new Oceanhorn 3 game, which is more than a bit inspired by Zelda, you can get away with a little bit of light gaming on the Neo. Also, while we're talking numbers, just a quick look at how it compares to this VivoBook with the Snapdragon X Plus chip. And the Neo with the A18 Pro is actually 68% faster in single core, but falling some way behind in multi-core. It's easy to get swept up in the specs and think, oh, it's running a phone chip, I don't want that on my laptop, it's not going to last very long. But Apple are so far ahead with their silicon, whether it's the A series for the phones, the M series for the laptops, that actually last generation's phone chip is actually a very capable laptop processor and beats in single core performance both the M1 and the newer Snapdragon X Plus. And the best bit, and this goes for all Macs, is that you're basically getting the exact same performance whether you're plugged in to the power or running on battery, which is a huge selling point for me, particularly when I'm traveling a lot, and I think you might be with this. This is, I think, built to take with you everywhere. And also the lack of compatibility issues. This, even though it's the mobile chip, the A18 Pro, it is still part of the Apple Silicon family. You're not going to have any app or program compatibility issues, which you can't say for the Snapdragon X Plus powered VivoBook over there. What I would say is, if you're at all worried about the performance of this and whether it's going to be able to handle your workflow, then maybe it's not the right choice. Maybe go for the MacBook Air M5, which is significantly more powerful and crucially will give you a lot longer use out of it, because you've got pretty slow storage with this 256 gig SSD. You've got the A18 Pro chip, you've got 8 gigabytes of memory, you can't spec any more than that. So it may be fine now, but as your workflow changes over the next 2, 3, 4 years, then you may wish you'd spent the extra 500 quid and bought the Air. The Air is a much more capable all-round laptop. And there are some other problems with this. There's no backlight to the keyboard. I do like that we have color-matched keys though. There's a slight tint of the blush to the back of the key, which, it's nearly white, so it's not difficult to see. And if you're using this at night, then I suspect the screen will probably illuminate the keys well enough. What you may have more of an issue with is the port selection. There are only 2 USB-Cs. One is USB 3, which is a decent speed, 10 gigabits per second. The other is USB 2. 480 megabits per second. So that's really only good for plugging in accessories like mice and keyboard and headphones. This back one is the fast one, which you'll want to plug your external SSDs into, your external displays into, which means if you do want to plug in to a monitor, which you may well do, and also connect a fast SSD external drive, then you're already running out of room. Oh, and the Neo only supports one external monitor, up to 4K 60, and you can have that and the screen on this at the same time, but that's it. Oh, and you do also have the headphone jack right here. Also, this is a speaker grill, not an SD card reader. And speaking of the speakers, they're actually not bad at all. I thought they would be worse than this. The soundstage is actually quite different from an Air. These are side firing, so you get a kind of wider room-filling sound. I would say it's on par with the 13-inch Air in terms of speaker quality. Slightly different sound, but similar quality. The 15-inch Air sounds even better, the Pro's even better than that. And remember, on the base model, you don't have Touch ID. This is just a lock button. You have to get the higher spec version, which is $699, which does also double the storage to $512, to get Touch ID. And I have found myself missing Touch ID. Every time I log into the laptop, every time I want to confirm bank details, payment details online, I would probably spend the extra 100 and get double the storage and Touch ID if I were you, if you're going to buy one of these. Or if you can find yourself a nice refurbished M2 Air, I would probably do that if you can get it for similar money. But we're not talking about the good things, like, yes, the chunkier bezels compared to the Air, but then there's no notch, which most people don't really like. The fact that we have 4 really actually genuinely nice, fun colors. You've got indigo, you've got this blush, which I actually really like, you've got silver and the head-turny citrus, which I think is going to be like the cosmic orange iPhone, where everyone's really excited at first and then kind of regret buying it afterwards because it's quite shouty as a color. The silver is the safest bet, but if you're going to buy a Neo, then, embrace the fun, fancy colors. You don't get this very often from Apple. The battery's great, easily get you through a full day. The MacBook Air does last a little bit longer, an extra couple of hours, 18 versus 16, but it's still absolutely fine. Lovely design with this aluminium chassis. The hinge is really nice. You can open it one-fingered. You've got decent speakers. The webcam is much better than you'll find on any comparably priced laptop. This is from the webcam on the M1 Air, and this is the webcam from the MacBook Neo. And even just looking at the screen side by side, the Neo looks significantly better. It's a lot more detailed, and this is a lot noisier. So in terms of things like the speakers, webcam, that is an upgrade on the Neo. And of course the Apple ecosystem, the fact that you can AirDrop and mirror your iPhone and use continuity so you can use your phone as the webcam as well. It pairs nicely with your AirPods. If you have an iPad, you can use it as a sidecar for a second screen. It is a lovely laptop, and for anyone who's complaining that it doesn't have 16 gigs of memory and it might not be that fast in 3 or 4 years' time, that's what the Air is for. The whole point of this is particularly for students who can get it for $499 with the discount, which does apply to the MacBook Air as well, by the way, so you can get that for $999. As flawed as it is, it's one of my laptops of the year so far. I'm really impressed by the Neo, but what do you think? If you had $600, £600 laying around, would you get this, a used M1 or M2 Air, an iPad Air, or none of the above? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.